the TV show, where we talk about Game of Thrones, and guess what? It's the finale, so it's a very special episode.
The children. I got so excited yesterday when The Children was coming, like an hour before it was released on HBO Go, because I realized it's Father's Day and what episode it is. Again, on the Twitter, we're getting mixed reviews from you guys. @Doublemint says, OMG, that episode was amazing. Tied up storylines and led to new ones. And then conversely, we got Aaron Nicole 11 who says, was I the only one underwhelmed by the episode? I mean, it was great, but it didn't blow my mind. Thoughts?
Okay.
Alexis Greer says, as a reader, I wasn't satisfied. They didn't wrap up book 3 in its entirety, and I let my expectations ruin the episode.
I think it's very important to understand that the show is a completely different entity now.
100%.
100%
And
a
I
different
think,
entity.
yeah, we just need to realize that we have two forms of entertainment in the Game of Thrones, in the Song of Ice and Fire mythos. As long as we enjoy them separately and together, and we find that harmony, I think we'll all be happy.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who read the books who felt that, you know, this moment and the whole Tyrion storyline, it was very different from what happened in the book.
For the finale episode of the TV show, let's talk mostly about the show, but then at the end we'll talk about a massive chunk of the book.
I have mixed feelings. Parts of the episode I love, parts of the episode I was a little mixed on. All the most interesting characters have either left Westeros or dead. There's not really a lot of interesting people in Westeros anymore. But let's not jump ahead after the climax of what was the battle of last week's episode with Jon going in.
@Inge Panda says, it's the first time in my life that I cheered an appearance of Stannis instead of my regular boredom when on scene.
Someone tweeted at me a photo of, no one was expecting the Spanish Inquisition. Has them photoshopped.
Before that even happened, we had Jon talking with
Mance Rayder, and it's like easily Kit Harington's like best scene.
Well, they actually gave him a chance to do something instead of just mope around.
Right.
As Jon said.
Look, that giant was the king of the giants and the last of his bloodline.
Yeah.
Because
Gren came from afar.
I mean, you remember,
drink.
he did do a lot of badass shit.
Yes.
Like joining the Wildlings, pretending to be part of their army, like all of that was very clever, very well done, and we got a chance to relive it and revisit it a little bit.
And I love Jon Snow, and I don't need every season to have like a fucking like epic Jon Snow story the whole way through. It's like, we've got a lot of material to cover here. We all have our favorite characters. Look, just relax. I'm sure there's some great Jon Snow stuff coming up, and just sit tight.
Here's what I liked. I thought that it very efficiently wrapped up that story, and it gave a nice underplayed moment for Kit Harington and for Ciarán Hinds. That was like a really great scene. Stannis' entrance is awesome, and it means
badass.
Right, and it means big changes are afoot on the wall. I think leaving it there was the right decision, considering how much
for the season.
For this season, just considering how many other things they had to wrap up. If they had a whole extra hour, I would have loved to have seen more. But just knowing that he's there and knowing that Jon now has to contend with a king is a great way to leave that character.
And originally, a lot of my disappointment from episode 9 of the season was in that we spent the entire episode on that battle on the wall, and Stannis didn't show up at the end. After having seen now what they did with the conversation with Mance and how they had Stannis come in, they didn't have time to do it justice.
Right, it wouldn't have
so
belonged
carrying it
in that
over
episode.
makes sense.
Jojen got stabbed by Harryhausen's skeleton.
Yeah.
It was one of those like, oh good, I don't
like
have to remember to forget you anymore.
It was prison change.
It was prison change. But that was a really this episode was filled with like, and then what is happening? And then you have like fire throwing people, and I'm on board.
Well, and I think that was my favorite part of the episode.
How do you guys feel about the children that we met in said cave?
Were they mentioned before? Is that something I should have known?
Yeah, they're mentioned obliquely.
They're mentioned a lot earlier in the books. I don't remember how explicitly they mentioned them.
So Jojen and
Mira,
Mira, when they first show up and they're explaining to Bran what a warg is, they talk about the first men and the children of the forest. You get like way more in depth with it in the book, and you could probably wiki it if you really want to know. Here's the thing:
don't wiki it too much.
Yeah,
this
I'm
Bran stuff.
staying away from
this Bran stuff is from book 5. Neither of us have read book 5, so we were like, "What is happening?" I was like screaming at Bran. I'm like, "Jump into Jojen, jump into all of them, start hopping between bodies and fight everybody."
Well, I don't think he can. Can he jump into anybody?
I don't know. I mean, if he can jump into Hodor, he can jump into anybody.
I felt like he could jump into Hodor because he was like a simpler person.
Horror's got a lot of free space.
He's got a
He's
big
like a hard
auditorium
drive with
there.
just 15 megs on it.
I got a very like intense Legend vibe. Do you guys know Legend?
Yeah.
with Tom
Movie?
Cruise.
Yeah, and there
Before
was that,
Tom Cruise had his teeth fixed.
Yes,
Legend.
and I love that little character who's like a fawn in Legend, and he's like a kid, but he has like an adult's voice almost. And I was like, yes, Ridley Scott, yes.
And I'm down with fireballs. Because
Yeah.
like, look, if he's never gonna be able to walk again, I mean, okay, that's sad, but he's gonna fly. I don't know if he's actually gonna physically fly, or if he's just gonna be able to rain fireballs down on
They're
everybody.
just gonna do a bunch of peyote in there. When I saw the children, that girl throwing the fireballs, all I could think of was lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Yeah.
We got a payoff that we all kind of spoiled in an earlier TV show because we thought the book
with
had skipped over it.
Yeah.
First, for not to skip over Danny actually being a very effective leader and being willing to compromise in an interesting way. And then you had Teary Guy come up, and I think all of us probably had the
Teary
same thing.
Guy,
Like,
P.S. That actor was amazing.
Yeah, it's like, this is going to get rough. Like, because we all probably knew what was
how was
coming.
this
It's like, this is
spoiled?
going to be...
We talked about it on an earlier episode of
Well, we
TV.
talked about
Because it
and I-
happened in the book, and so we assumed it wasn't going to happen. And Steve and I had a big thing of like, oh, the show copped
Yeah,
out.
like, why would you get? Yeah, like, what's up,
Yeah.
HBO? You don't want to show burnt up baby bones?
Well, they did.
They did. By the way, I'm pretty sure I know where the Black Dragon went. How to Train Your Dragon 2 came out. Obviously, he's at the
contract. It was a contract thing. He couldn't be in. It's just like the recasting of what Dario Naharis.
Exactly.
He's busy in a movie.
At Mortified Pen asked, "Did you cry at the part with the dragons?"
No, but it was very emotional.
Yeah. it was
Yeah,
tough.
really bummed out and like really just sad for her. Because
Yes.
I mean, look, she's trying to be a leader. It's not her strong suit dealing with the people. It just seems like a huge drag, not a pun. And then, you know, she's been all about protecting these dragons for years
And
now.
she's under a lot of fire. But she needs.
And she has to scale serious heights.
Oh my god.
Wait, but like she needs the guy she kicked out. She needs him.
Jorah?
She needs
Sir
Jorah.
Jorah?
Yeah, because this other guy, I don't like this other guy
You don't like him?
advisor.
Sir Barristan is a great advisor.
A good advisor.
I don't know how I feel.
And
about it.
he's
Just
also
because-
not trying
He
to
has
bang
a wonderful
her.
resume.
If you think about the growth of these dragons, they're effectively teenagers right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're rebellious,
Very
they're
emo.
testing their limits, they're emo, and now she's grounding two of them because of something that the other one
brother
did.
did something bad.
Right. These dragons are never going to forget that she chained them
I
up in a
know.
basement.
That's what I'm worried
Well, and
about.
I think she's got the wrong idea chaining up these two dragons.
You need to show your people that you're doing something about it.
That's true.
And not just letting it go. So this is
Well,
more for the.
it's
For,
more
and
of
I
a-
feel like the show could have driven that
It's more of
home.
a political
Okay.
move.
Yeah, like,
But there
hey,
wasn't
I'm
a
not
ton
going
of
to let my
time.
dragons
Yeah.
kill your kids.
This is how much I care
no
about
more.
my movement here.
Can't dragon fire melt through pretty much anything? How are these dragons not melting through their chains?
Because they're the good kids that when their parents say they're grounded, they stay at home.
I don't know, but there's gonna be some
know.
definite
Nerds.
consequences to
yeah.
them locking them up.
Yeah,
to
that's
her locking
I
them
feel
up.
a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach.
You were calling for more characters to run into
I
each
need
other.
people to run into each other for once.
now we
which-
got a whole
We got
bunch
a
of
bunch.
it.
We got
We got it.
We
Stannis
did
running
get a
into
bunch of
Jon,
it,
and this
yeah.
time we got Brienne running into the Hound and fighting
Arya.
And Arya?
and fighting
Yeah.
for no damn reason. I love the way it played out for Arya, but at that moment it's like I want these two to be BFFs so
Well,
bad.
the fight was because it was two tough guys. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, that were just kind of like, stay off my. Like, what do you say? What'd you just say?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what'd
Yeah.
you just
Well,
say?
Brienne, she's got an oath to keep, right? And she's not going to let the Hound, who she sees as a villain,
As a bad guy.
Which
to
is-
keep her from it. So she's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna take this girl back to her
To
home.
safety, which
To safety,
I
which-
loved when the
yeah.
Hound was like,
There's-
"What is safe
there's
anymore?
no
There is
fucking
no
safety."
But I feel
Everyone you can
like-
take her to is dead."
But
Yeah.
Arya with the Hound or Arya with Brienne, I feel like she's safe either way. And I
Well, so
would've
then
loved-
how'd it make you feel that she didn't choose either?
I'm very sad.
I was very bummed at first she didn't go with Brienne, and then what ended up happening with her, we're going with her going to Bravos, and I guess learning to be an assassin or something, and hopefully meeting change face cool person
Jack
guy.
and Hooker.
Yeah, he was like my favorite character in the show.
Yeah, that guy's so awesome, right?
Stoked. I'm stoked on
guy.
that.
I think that fight was awesome.
It was
Yeah.
dope.
It was
It
very
was so
intense.
good
Yeah.
because, and right before it was a gritty, like just, so, like it looked like two animals fighting, and right before that they were like, "I'm no knight, cool,
Yeah.
neither am I,"
Yep.
and then they just like dirty fight.
I love how Sarah, so you guys say it didn't happen in the book. So while they're fighting, Sarah just like gets up out of her seat and is like, I don't know what's happening. happening right now? She's like, what's happening?
Well,
Like,
that's what's great about the show for the book readers.
Exactly.
but not out of like, why is this out of like, what's gonna happen? Like, what is this? Like, it was a little surprise.
No matter who wins, you're gonna lose somebody that you like.
Exactly.
And I never thought I'd be so bummed
Yeah.
to see that Hound probably eat it.
What if he doesn't die there? What if someone heals him?
I hope so, 'cause I
and
like
then
the
she
actor.
fucked up.
They leave
and
it
she
open.
and she didn't get to mark him off of her
Pit
list.
zombie
what if
hound
it's-
versus zombie mountain
Exactly.
in a
What if,
battle royale.
what if there's
for the
another creepy
ages.
Dr. Frankenstein Meister that'll come out like, I'll do something. We don't know how it'll change
guys,
it.
He'll never be the same.
Go in my coffee.
No, I was just gonna.
We'll just drag them north of the wall.
Why does
and
my
have them
coffee
reanimated.
mean that your coffee's ruined if it adds my coffee?
Good point.
I
coffee.
assumed that was a Steve water cup.
Can we talk about Cersei, Tywin, and Jaime?
Oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
was the most Cersei's gotten to do
Right.
in seasons.
And easily, like, my favorite scene with her ever. It's a scene that's
Yeah.
not in the
It's
books.
not in the books
and
at
it
all.
makes you like empathize with her almost on a level.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, she's like, I'm not gonna marry Loras. I'm not gonna be a pawn. And you know what, Dad? I've been fucking my brother this whole time, and you've just been in denial about it, and you still want me to like play the good daughter? Fuck you.
as a woman in that culture, you're basically livestock that gets passed around.
And she does not like
and
it.
I'm done with that, which makes
but
sense.
she
Is she an evil
had-
bitch?
but
Yes,
hold
but I
on a
understand
second.
why she
But
hates that.
Cersei's had everything she's ever wanted.
Has
she?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
No.
She got married to Baratheon, and Baratheon didn't want any
He
of her
hated
stuff.
her, beat
I
her,
mean,
Yeah.
slept around.
But she
Well,
still
and from the
got
time
what
she was
wanted,
9,
though.
she wanted to, like,
What
from
did
the time
she
she was
want?
little, she wanted to have a
She
dick.
still had Jaime behind everybody's
She
back.
wants to be
She still.
Jaime.
She wants to be Jaime. She wants to have the respect that he has. She wanted to be treated the same as him. She's never gotten what she wanted, and that's why she's fucked everyone else over
and
her
that's
entire
why
life.
she's so fucked up.
So Jaime and Cersei fuck, and then Jaime to the rescue. After he blew his load, he goes to save Tyrion.
He says right away, he's like, Varys sent me. So it wasn't just like of his own
Which I
volition.
love. I
It was
love that. Like
let me
Varys
get
is
up
like,
and do this.
Varys is like in court. I can't unless it's sneaky.
No,
I can't
fuck
help
you,
you.
because I wanted
Yeah.
to talk to you about that, because I wanted to do the I told you so thing about Varys in the courtroom, because Varys was just trying to be careful.
Yeah. Well, but that's the
Varys
thing.
is
I
always
love that.
careful.
But you could very much tell that Varys is like, wink.
I'm so excited about Tyrion Varys buddy cop.
Me
going
too!
on. But
Me too.
also, like you two need to become best friends because you're the only two guys that together you might be able to outsmart.
Can you
Littlefinger.
imagine?
Yeah,
They
you're
could
in.
take,
Yeah,
they could take over
100%.
Westeros.
I also love that it was like 2 knocks and then Varys will open the door. He's like right there. Cool. I'm gonna go do some stuff real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make Varys
Yeah,
wait
make
there for a
Varys
little-
like shit his pants.
Varys
Like,
just sitting
he
there
must have
going-
been caught. What's going on?
Yeah, oh god,
Yeah.
oh god, oh god, it's all over.
Can I be honest? I know it's in the books. I didn't like Tyrion killing Shay.
Whatever. At this point, I was just like,
How long do you
Okay.
think that they were knocking the boots? Do
who
you think
cares?
it's like
Do you
No.
care?
I care. I care because it frames their entire relationship. If she had been fucking
Oh, okay, I see what
Tywin
you're saying.
for
Yeah.
for months or perhaps even a year, the whole time that Tywin's been in King's Landing, then that means that she's like a fucking traitor.
But at this point, it's like there can't be anything worse
called
to
him
happen to
my
Tyrion.
lion.
I know, but
Yeah.
Tyrion is like just like the most is sad. Like he's just so sad.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's nothing else that can be done to make Tyrion more sad.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I mean,
really
there
feel
is.
like that.
There is.
Fuck
Let's
you!
talk about it.
Fuck you! Don't do that!
No, I'm
Don't
saying
do
within
that!
the show. I'm saying within the show, him killing Shay made him more sad. Like that was.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're saying with their fucking
I
eyes
don't know
over here.
anything.
Yes, you do.
I know he got on a boat.
Anyway,
That's all I know.
point
Well,
being-
we're
I'm not
talking-
talking about you. I'm talking about these fuckers right
Can
here.
everybody stop yelling for 1 second, please?
Yeah.
I'm
Fuck
talking.
you, Drew.
I'm talking about what we're going to talk about in the last 2 minutes of the book spoiler section of this episode. Is what I'm talking about. Calm your shit
All right,
down.
I just saw a look, and I was like, that's the look. And I was like, fuck that look.
I was given the impression in the show that she really did love him, and for whatever reason, shit went south.
Yeah,
and
but-
I don't think that is him murdering her feels petty.
But DJ, you see, so let's think of it from Tyrion's perspective in the show. So the trial was probably the biggest low point for Tyrion.
Yeah, because
And
when she gets up there.
Yeah, she gets up there and just tears his heart to shreds.
Yeah.
So he has, from that point to the point where he sees her in his father's bed, to stew about what she did to him. He truly loved her.
Yes.
You don't deny that he truly loved her. And then you have her in his father's bed
calling his dad my lion.
I mean, and not only
after
that,
she totally, like, in front of the whole court, she made a mockery of the fact that she called him her lion.
And can we just say how beautiful the direction was on the shot where after he strangled her on Tyrion's face and then it like pans over to Shay's upside down dead face? It was so nice.
He obviously went to Tywin's room
to
kill Tywin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was there and Tyrion's a pretty smart guy. There was no way out of getting to Tywin at that point other than having to kill Shay.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a witness.
I
You
think
can't
he
leave
just
any
realized.
witnesses.
I'm on board with
Pop,
that.
2 in the back. Tywin always talks about how much he hates whores and got on Tyrion for being with whores, and then he's in bed with a whore. Their first scene together in the first season, he talks about how he hates that he bangs whores.
I can't help but feel like from Tywin's perspective, he's just like, yeah, like Tyrion loved you, I'm just gonna fuck you because I'm gonna kill him tomorrow anyway. Like, he got more off on the fact that he was killing his son and fucking his girl.
Okay, he says that he wasn't going to kill him. Do you believe him?
No, 100% no.
I think he was gonna ship him off to the wall. Tywin's so hardcore about the Lannisters shit. Like he's not gonna.
Yeah, but Tywin's gonna stand in front of his entire kingdom and say he's being executed, and then the next day go, wait, never mind, I'm sending him to the wall.
See,
No,
that's
just
why
put
I was
another
like,
head on the spike.
I would have loved it. I would have loved it if they sent it to the wall.
Or they stage it and they bring out another little person, another dwarf with a bag over his head, and then they kill him. They say Tyrion's dead. Like I totally
like
imagine.
Brandon Rickon.
He arranged so many times for Tyrion to be in situations where it would be easy for him to be killed. He wanted him dead, but I don't think that Tywin would actually swing the sword and kill him himself because he is his blood.
So we had that triumphant moment with Tyrion meeting his dad on the pot. He kills him. They kind of have their moment, and then that's it. Tyrion leaves, and he goes up the steps to meet with Varys.
he gets put in a little box.
Gets put in a little box,
Yeah.
and I love that
That's
moment
weird.
where Varys is like, all right, well, there we go, I did my business. Then he looks back at King's Landing, here's the alarm going off, and he's like, yeah, it's probably a smart move to get the fuck out.
Probably
I'm gonna get the fuck out too.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
One, it was just it was a well-played comic scene. Then also, it's like Tyrion and Varys get to hang out.
Yeah, I love him sitting there on the box and just kind of like, all right, calm down.
Arya decides to not go with Bran. She goes her own path, and she has that coin that she's been holding on to,
She's
and
going
she's
to
off to
Bravos.
Bravos. And I'm hoping it's
she was
just
trying to go to
Changer.
Jack and Hagar. I'm
wait a
hoping we
minute.
see him again. This season was a transition season. And a lot more hardcore extent than I thought. They literally tore down what the show was. Like almost none of what the show was exists at this point anymore. And now it's becoming a different type of show.
Exactly, and now it feels like the end of a chapter. Like everything was kind of tied up, so it feels like we're moving into a new phase of the show, rather than just seeing more.
This is going to be a little bit of book territory. So if you don't,
bookend.
a bookend. So if you don't want to hear this stuff, bye. Thank you for joining us.
This in no way is spoilers about things to come.
Things to come in the future of the show.
This is just talking about how the Tyrion storyline in this episode differed greatly from how it was framed in the book.
A lot of the changes they made in last night's finale from the book were great. Brienne Hound, awesome. Like, I'm down with that.
Yep.
This change, I was not down with.
So what is
the
it?
entire book series, I was waiting to see the scene, and they fucking cut it.
What is it? Explain
I'm
it.
really upset.
So here's the scene in a nutshell. Is basically Jaime confesses to Tyrion that his first wife, the one who his father said was a whore, and
and he
Jaime
was like,
said was a
oh,
whore.
haha, we tricked you into marrying a whore.
Marrying a whore who never loved you. She just wanted money, and
then they had the whole army
like
have sex with
rape her
in
while
front
coins
of, while
fell through her
Tyrion had to
fingers.
watch coins fall through her fingers. Well, Jaime decides to say
Jaime confesses that she wasn't a whore. She was a woman who was a peasant girl who actually loved Tyrion.
She actually loved him.
We don't need that.
Yeah, I'm with Steve.
Because that's so excessive.
So, your whole bromance brothers hug it out thing, that's not what happens. Because Jaime says this and essentially breaks Tyrion.
He fucking snaps.
Like, completely off the deep end and just loses it. And he's like, oh, P.S. Cersei's been fucking Lancel and Osmond Kettleback, like right in Jaime's face. And P.S. I poisoned Joffrey. What? Which he didn't really, but he says it because he wants to piss off Jaime.
Because he wants to make, he wants to
so
hurt
mad.
him. Because he's so mad.
Like, you lied to me that whole time. You just let that army rape the only woman who ever loved me. You let me watch that. You let that happen. fuck you.
Fuck
and
you.
then when he goes upstairs, that's his motive.
That's why he kills Shay. That's why he kills Tywin. He does it because of the lies that have been perpetrated over the course of years.
A whole different thing. So when they made the motive in the show, his motive for killing Tywin, when he's like, oh, you really loved her, and he says who? I was like, please say Tysha, please say Tysha, and he's like, Shay. I was like, so lame.
Yeah, okay, so now it sounds like that's the motivation we needed then.
Well, because it legitimately breaks him. It's like when that was the look when you were like, nothing worse could happen to Tyrion.
Yeah,
but that's what that was, because that's what happens to Tyrion.
In defense of how they played it on the show, I feel like it's a cleaner thing. Like, as you said, it feels excessive, like, to bring all that backstory in.
But they told the story of Tysha already in the show.
But forever ago.
Also, the way the show has set up this whole backstory, the whole bro hug it out, we're good fist bump thing, works with the way the show set it up. But for me, I felt like I was deprived of that moment, that I wanted to see those brilliant actors act out on screen.
I get that too. But now that you tell me this, I see Tyrion going back for revenge as kind of like wait, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, why don't you just leave? I feel like it wouldn't have been
received well by people watching the show, because Tyrion, as played by Peter Dinklage, I feel like is more empathetic than he is in the book. I feel like that he is kind of a softer, quieter character. To have him snap in that way would feel like a major curveball.
I mean, but it does saw him snap in the courtroom.
I would have felt less weird about him killing Shay.
Right.
So we already saw him sort of snap in the courtroom in a way.
That isn't snapping. That is justified and having nothing left to lose.
I agree.
Versus him actually snapping is a way bigger step. And then he would then be this kind of broken guy going further on.
That's true. So that's true. We'd have him never getting closure for that.
Right, and then we'd have to spend like a whole season getting him back to being the Tyrion that we love. And who knows if viewers would have patience.
So maybe so maybe the showrunners got together and they got to that point where they were like, next season we have to have Tyrion as this broken, not lovable guy anymore. So maybe it's not worth it to go there with the character yet or at all. I'd be very curious to hear what the showrunners.
Well, I mean, it's for me, it was one of those moments in the entire series. There's things you remember in the whole series. You remember Ned getting beheaded. You remember the Red Wedding.
You remember Littlefinger revealing that he was responsible for everything.
You remember Pod's penis being large.
That's not in the book.
Foster's penis.
That conversation between Tyrion and Jaime, for me, was one of those defining moments in the series. And the fact that they completely left it out breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart.
Interesting, and it does seem like that's the motivation we really needed for Tyrion to go back and want to kill his dad so bad.
I think what maybe they decided
it's very out of character to have just a murderer Tyrion all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because he's not a killer.
No, he's not. But I think maybe what they were trying to do is that the thing that breaks him is killing Shay. Like, he goes to confront his dad, Shay's there, he accidentally kills her.
I think that's what they tried to make it about Shay.
Weird,
accidentally kills her?
Well, I mean, because she's trying to stab him.
He
kills her, but it's one of those. But he doesn't go there to kill her.
He did go in there to talk to. Well, I don't know. Did he go in there to kill?
Yeah, because he wasn't armed at that point.
Or did he go in there to talk to him?
I think he went in there to confront him. Not necessarily to kill him.
And then he kills Shay, and then he's like, fuck it, now I'm going to kill you.
All right, well anyway, whatever. Guys, thank you so much for watching the TV show for Game of Thrones. This is the last episode. I'm sad and excited. It's melancholy. We have to wait a whole other year. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this entire thing. And please, let's talk in the comments down below about the season as a whole, I guess. And try not to spoil things, I guess.
Try not to. Please don't.
Just don't.
Yeah, just
Please
don't.
just don't.
Drew is going to ban the hell out of it.
Drew's really into banning things.
I already saw one spoiler on a completely different video this morning that didn't have a spoiler alert or anything.
Nowhere is safe.
The web is dark and full of spoilers. I go back to that tweet because it's true.
Tweet.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Trish Hirschberger.
I'm Matt Lieberman.
And I'm DJ Oldridge.
And we'll see you guys next year, sort of.
Next year.
Maybe we'll do the next American Horror Story.
That'd be cool.
Or like Walking Dead or something.
I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot of
good stuff.
True Detective?
Yeah, absolutely.
How about the last season of True Blood?
No.
No? No one else is on board with me there.